Hey guys, Sandy here and welcome back to my channel. Today I am participating in Off the Board. Now for the month of July, Crystal of Pineapple Papers is doing her Off the Board challenge every single day. I am going to be joining her on the Wednesdays of the month. So I pulled up a quote pin board. I am going to use this one that says, "I don't need an inspirational quote, I need coffee." I have this photo of me when I got my Starbucks red cup. It is a 4x4 photo. And I'm also using my June homemade kit. I know that this video is going up July 1st, but it's all good. It's all good. This is what we're doing. Okay, let's see what I can do. Now I have these letters in my kit, and these are old letters. They are from Daisy D's, and I have never used them as they were intended. So they were intended to be used with one of their collections, and I just never did that. I kept them, and I have used them as stencils for many, many years, and I like the font, I like the way it looks, so I will probably continue to do that. Now, this is kind of crazy that I would do this. I have a die cut machine, I have a a manual die cut, I have an electronic die cutter, but I still get to enjoy the cutting out of the stencils, and that's just what I do. Now, I made sure that all of the letters were facing the same direction because I wanted the lines on the other side of this paper to face in the same direction. I wanted my word to look like it was one big whole cohesive word instead of pieces all over the place. Now I did get the letters cut out. They are here, and now I am building up a photo mat. So my photo is a 4x4 photo, and it is because I printed off an Instagram photo. I tried to print it off at 4x6, but it cut off so much of the cup that you couldn't even tell what I was doing. It just looked like I was smiling at you in the photo. And the story is of the cup, because this is the, I can't remember if it was the free Starbucks cup you got when you bought, or it was a cheap Starbucks cup. I don't remember. All I remember is that I got the cup and I used it throughout the entire season while I was at work. And, it just fit with what I was going with for Off the Board today, so I figured it worked. Now, as you can see, I am a top-down scrapbooker, even though I tried really hard to be a bottom-up scrapbooker. My layers get moved around and adjusted just because, sometimes you just got to do that. Sometimes what is picturing in your head doesn't translate exactly off to the paper. I really wanted to get this XO in there somehow. I even wanted this frame in there because the colors just worked out so great, but ultimately that doesn't happen. Now this is a piece of paper from a basic gray pad. I think it was like the Best of Basic Gray 2 or something like that, on top of a Close to My Heart paper. So I decided to pull it and rip it down so that it kind of had this diagonal pattern. This is something that I've done in the past on layouts, is to do a diagonal pattern, and I just figured that it would work with this one as well. So coffee is a big word, so I do have to finagle with the spacing a little bit, and some of the letters are going to overlap each other. And I'm okay with that. I'm not like freaking out about it. However, I do feel like the letters need some definition, so that when they do overlap each other, you're going to be able to see like each individual letter. You'll read it as a word, but you'll be able to see each individual letter as well. So I grabbed my Brutus Monroe Alabaster ink. It is a white pigment ink. And what this does is I just use a foam blending tool and I just ink the edges. And then you can tell the difference between the letters on the left and the letters on the right. There's just a little bit more definition there, and the letter is not going to get lost on the background of the page. Because let's face it, you guys, this is a very pattern busy layout. So this little bit of ink is going to be able to kind of diffuse it a little bit. Now I do ink the edges of the photo mat, and then I ink the black and white paper edges. Just because I had ink going on elsewhere on the layout, I felt like it was good to bring it in other places as well. So I am using some foam squares, and I have to say that foam squares have been like all my love right now. I do keep a selection of them right off to the side, to my left while I'm creating, and I just love them. So I am popping down the foam squares on each of the letters, and I'm just adhering them down to the page, so that coffee is going to be across the bottom of the layout. Now this is a big word, and if big huge words are not your jam, then don't use such a big huge word. But if using a big huge word isn't something that you normally do and you don't know if you like it, try it. Like, just try it. My philosophy is try something, and if you're still not sure of it, try it again. And if you try something and you don't like it, try it again. It could just be it's the first time you're doing it, and it's just that awkwardness and weirdness surrounding it. And that was me with mixed media. Like, the first time I was like, this is weird. And the second time I was like, ooh, I can actually get into this. It was actually Dina Wakely who opened up my inner slob for mixed media. She just said, just do it. You can always cover it up and just have fun and play, and play with the abandon like you did when you were a kid. And that's what I do. I just go for it and I play. So, that's the way to do it. At least I think that's the way to do it. So I am bringing in a chipboard photo corner up here. It is a khaki colored photo corner, just like the khaki colored paper that I have coffee. And then I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to add these things in. So this is a wooden or a wood veneer little thing, and I just decided to add it in as a layering piece instead of as a focal element on the page. And then I keep trying to bring in this XO. I really thought that it would work, but the parts that you saw on it, there wasn't enough. I wanted you to see more. I thought about bringing in this guy as well, and no, that just didn't work out. I do have the two different doilies on there. I have kind of like the white, more delicate doily, and then we have the golden doily, and that is working. So this is weird because the Pinterest pin that I'm using is a quote, and I really don't have anything down for the quote yet. But I think what I'm going to do is put the quote, the big portion of the quote, up here on this torn off area. And while I'm looking at this page, I think that it turned out great with what I ended up doing up here in the corner. However, I kind of wish that this top tear was less of a curve and more of a straight line, more similar to the tear on the bottom. But that's just me looking at this layout right now, thinking that when I actually do the layout and the layout's finished, I'm totally cool with it. I don't think about it at all once I see the layout finished. It's just me while I'm watching myself scrapbook this layout. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why I don't watch myself scrapbook the layout too much while I'm doing a voiceover, because I don't want to see the things I would have changed or the things I would have done differently, because sometimes I'm like, Sandy, what are you doing? And that's not fun. So I spelled out the word inspirational, and now I'm going to spell out the word quote. And I am using a bunch of different fonts here, and I think that just lends some, not only variety, but some interest. If this up here was all the same exact font, it wouldn't be as visually appealing, and you would just probably be like, and move on. But since there are different fonts for your eye to look at, and your brain is being stimulated a little bit more, I think that it works. So I decide to stop putting together the title, because, that's what I do. I kind of squirrel myself all over the place while I am scrapbooking, and I kind of, bounce around to the different areas, and, that's okay. Now this, I just feel like this was inspired right here. Like that little arrow kind of molding it around just works for me. Now, I am not a fan of the 3 little foam dot things that I put over there next to my flare, and those will come off because, no, they don't look good. I do love the little flare here from Scrap and Happy Studio. It was actually in a Target-themed flare package that I purchased from there. It had like the Target bullseye, a red shopping cart, and then this Starbucks cup. So it totally works for me because, I am a manager at Target and I do have a Starbucks in our location. So I just decided to go ahead with the little tile stickers to say I don't need an, and then it says inspirational quote. And then down here at the bottom, I'm going to get the part where it says I need coffee. So these are a sticker sheet from Creative Agenda from Echo Park. It is an older sticker sheet, but the color works. The teal works with the teal that I have already going on the layout over here on the left. I am going to take that alabaster ink though and ink this sucker down, and what that's going to do is kind of tone down that teal so that it matches a little bit better to the teal that's over there under my photo mat. I'm also going to tuck in this tag that says "You're so wonderful," and let's face it, coffee is wonderful. Now, I am not like a coffee addict. I don't, worry about my coffee beans and which location has the best beans for that kind of roast. Like that's not a thing. I just enjoy a cup of coffee. I just do. Especially in the mornings lately. I would say on the mornings, it's just nice to sit down and have a hot beverage in the mornings. And I don't know, I feel like I've gone through that phase of my life a couple times where I drink coffee in the mornings regularly and then I just stop and then it's back. So I feel like I'm back in that coffee drinking in the morning phase of my life. I just enjoy it. I'm grabbing these older Fancy Pants enamel shapes. I've got hearts and dots that I'm just going to sprinkle around the page. I put the teal hearts up here on the top where the beginning of the title is, and that's just because there's no teal whatsoever up there, and I felt like it would be a good place to add it, especially since I have the teal under the photo mat, and then I have the teal letters. Now, I do have the word / letter I nestled into the little curve of the chipboard on where I have need placed. You can't really see it from the video. If you look at the layout, I feel that you see it a little bit better. But if you don't even see that and you only see need coffee, I'm okay with that. Like, it doesn't bother me. If I felt like I needed you to see that letter I would have made it much more visible with a bolder font. And since I don't do that, I'm good with it. I am adding Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to my layout just to make sure the things stick down. So there it is, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to tune into Crystal's channel. She is doing Off the Board every single day this month. And then I will be joining her on the Wednesdays of the month. See you guys again real soon for another video.